is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
Today we're discussing Finding Mr. Christmas, Episode 5, a series that is streaming exclusively on Hallmark Plus. And we've got some breaking Hallmark news that's going to make you want to be a Hallmark Plus subscriber if you're not already. Another place you should be subscribed is to all of our social media followings. We are on Instagram. We are Girls Gone Hallmark. I wanted to hit just a real quick breaking news since this episode comes out today. Mm-hmm. Hallmark did confirm there was some speculation after When Calls the Heart was announced to be coming back in January. What's going to happen to The Way Home? Right. Well, now we have an answer. The Way Home is coming to Hallmark Plus January 2nd. It will be on the Hallmark channel in the fall.
So how do you feel about that?
I mean, I am a Hallmark Plus subscriber, so to me, I'm like, easy.
I don't like that it's on Thursdays. Used to be a Sunday night show, remember?
I know. A lot of people, it's become kind of a joke. Like, everything drops on Thursdays on Hallmark Plus, and like, does it matter? Here's the only reason I think it matters. I think the advantage of episodic programming, dropping something week to week, which is what they're doing with The Way Home and The Chicken Sisters and Mistletoe Murders and Finding Mr. Christmas, is you are trying to make it appointment television.
Sure.
Obviously, there's also like you're trying to keep people subscribed to your streamer, but if you want something to be appointment television, you can't drop 5 things on Thursday morning.
It's too hard.
Break it up.
Yeah.
And make people be like, it's Finding Mr. Christmas Day. It's The Way Home Day. Like, give people something to look forward to. And then there's like a shared experience. Like, people are like tweeting about it and Instagram storing their reactions. And if everything's dropping on Thursday, I think you're diluting a little bit of that reaction.
I absolutely think that's what's happening with Mistletoe Murders. A lot of people think this is the best show on Hallmark Plus right now. But I haven't seen it because I'm covering so many other things.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. It's definitely on my list to watch. That might be like a winter break, downtime show.
So too many things on Thursdays.
Too many things.
I like your idea about appointment TV.
Well, let's jump right into Finding Mr. Christmas, Episode 5.
First, before getting into this episode, can I just say, some of the emails and comments about my takes on Blake.
Oh, yeah, people are real mad at Wendy.
Yeah, hey, it's okay. We don't like the same people.
Yeah, it's fine. Move on.
I'm not
start your own podcast and yell about us.
All right, let's talk about Finding Mr. Christmas, Episode 5.
So as you may recall, Episode 4 ended on a cliffhanger. Do we or do we not bring back Parker? This feels like a no-brainer to me. Mm-hmm. The guys deliberate for a split second. Should we bring him back?
Yeah.
And I think this is what makes this show different from some other reality shows is like, yes, they're all trying to win, but these dudes seem to genuinely like each other.
That's the impression I got when we had our interview with Daxton as well. Like, they have a real bond.
And he mentioned in that interview, which you should listen to if you haven't, they have like a group chat going. I saw some photos of a bunch of the guys still together. So they do choose to bring Parker back. And Jonathan's like, go get him. And there's this whole silly, like, running down the street scene. And Parker is just about to take his stocking down when the dudes stop him.
Did you clock Ezra's quivering chin?
No.
Like, when they were getting ready to, like, say that they were going to save Parker, dude was quivering. Like, he was holding back his tears. I was like, is this acting?
Oh. Well, I did. Ezra says Parker makes him a better competitor.
Yeah.
Maybe he just genuinely has a lot of affection for Parker.
Right. But then I also noticed that, like, Jonathan Bennett got all teary-eyed too. And I was like, what am I missing? Like, I feel like we went from, like, yes, Parker can stay. And then everybody is, like, super emotional about it. And I was like, what?
I think it's just a nice moment. Like, you're like, I don't know. It's nice to see people care about other people.
Maybe I lack that in my life. I don't know. So yes, you're right. They run back to the house. They save Parker before he leaves. Classic Hallmark. I thought that was really cute, actually.
I did too.
Your guy. I don't know. I just thought that was really funny and kind of clever how they do it. But what did you think about Parker's reaction?
Oh, I didn't find anything I stand out about it.
I kind of thought he was like, to me, it
Like expected
read,
it?
What?
Like he expected it?
No, that they had to take the take several times.
Oh.
And he just was like, I'm ecstatic. It just
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, for real. It was just,
From here, we move on. We get a workout montage.
oh my God, was that the funniest? Bros were lifting in front of the fireplace. It was hilarious to me.
My favorite part about this moment, though, is that Blake says the competition is getting thick.
Yes. Yes. Wasn't that funny?
Is Blake also the one who said he was sweating bricks earlier?
No, that was Elijah.
I just, obviously, I assume Blake means the competition is getting stiff. But in my mind, as they're working out, I just thought it was really funny. And I read it as like THICC.
That's hilarious.
Parker is making breakfast. This is kind of the most homey activities we've seen amongst the group. And Blake and Ezra are like, yeah, we just crushed a workout. We're hungry too.
That was so weird to me, all of that. I was like, is this really how like dudes talk to each other?
Yeah, I don't know. And then Jonathan comes downstairs and he's like just woken up. He's like, good morning. I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. I'm dying to know. I love like the logistics, the how to, like what's going on in the house.
Yeah, like maybe Jonathan was last in the shower.
Yeah, right?
So he was last down to breakfast. I don't know. I would love the logistics too. We'll never know, apparently.
Indeed. So the dudes head outside to the, what do they call it? The Yuletide yard.
Yuletide yard.
And there's something boiling in some vats. I did want to point out, like last week's festive face-off, everyone was in flannels. This week, they're all in jackets and vests.
Oh.
Yeah. Some in scarves, some not.
There must be like a wardrobe person there on set who's like coordinating their
Yeah, they want
looks.
them to look nice.
They're LEWKS.
That's right. They want them to look cohesive. This challenge feels very Big Brother to me.
Oh my God, 100%. I was so excited for it.
They have to transfer hot cocoa from one mug to another using giant marshmallow sponges as the vehicle with which to move the cocoa. And I loved it. Melissa Peterman shows up. She looks fierce. And they pair off. Mm-hmm. So we get Ezra and Elijah.
Yes.
Jonathan and Parker.
Yep.
And then Hayden and Blake are left together. And they point out that they've never won a festive face-off together.
Yeah.
Or separately, either of them. And then they're sent and they change into play clothes. So their cute outfits go away.
Really get out of those looks because we have to send them back to the store. Well, let's put you in your Michaels Gildan branded t-shirt now.
Exactly. My favorite line in this whole episode is Melissa says, this is my favorite part, just watching them run.
Oh, yeah. Justice for Melissa, man.
She's so good.
She needs a
the
movie.
whole episode.
She's amazing.
And then Jonathan says, ready, set, go.
Very cute.
And as I'm watching this, I'm like, dude, are you new? Like, do you not know how a sponge works? I'm like, squeeze the marshmallow. You got to squish it closed. And some of them take a little bit longer to get there.
It took them a minute to figure out exactly like how to squeeze it and absorb it into from sponge to sponge.
Yes. Melissa gives them squeeze like you've never squeezed before encouragement.
I thought it was I thought it was a fun competition. I did wonder how long it took in real life because it seemed like they were getting very, very close to like it spilling
Agree.
over and it just wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. So I'm curious like how in real time, like how long it took.
How long it took. They did fortunately like pre-fill their cups most of the way. So they only had a little bit of the way to go. Unlike Big Brother where they're like,
Starting at nothing.
yeah, you're on your own, kid. But Hayden and Blake do win. Their cup runneth over.
They did.
Hey, let's take a quick break for some ads and we'll come right back to talk our acting challenge. Before we get to our acting challenge, in another new scene, we get like an interstitial scene. It starts snowing outside. Mm-hmm. Now, here's my question. We know that this was filmed in June. Does it snow in Utah in June? Like, it looks like snow. They go outside and like the snow's coming in from the side. You're not buying it?
Movie magic. Well,
I know, but usually movie magic, they're like real tight on them and it's like falling on their face. Like this is a wide shot of them playing football.
there was nothing on the ground.
No, it was just like a light, like dusting.
Well, I wondered the same thing too. Let me say this before I start to dog on Elijah's comments about snowing in California. They do show in Utah, like there looks to be snow in the mountains.
Yeah.
Does snow stay in the mountains all year long in Utah? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I have been to Oregon in the summer and there was snow in the mountains.
Me too.
So maybe perhaps that happens. But I don't think it was really snowing, Megan.
All right. Well, I had my moment and they were like, they're talking about how cold it is. One of them's like, I need gloves.
They got all bundled up. I'm like, it is June in Utah.
I know.
It cannot be that cold. Now, let me tell you, Elijah was hyped. He was like, it's snowing. I'm like, this was like this whole scene. I was like, I am not buying it. But he's like, it's snowing. And then in his talking head interview, he's like, look, I'm from California. It doesn't snow there. My friend, it snows in California.
It does.
He's from Corona, California.
He's like halfway to the snow.
He's like right there. I mean,
Like just drive a little further east, bro.
so Corona is the Inland Empire, and yes, not a winter wonderland there, but close to it. So
Yes.
it snows in California.
My favorite part about this scene, well, two things. Blake and Hayden appear to be new bestie bros, and I wrote that Wendy cannot be happy about this.
I was like, but what about Daxton?
They also do a quick update about Dax and his eye patch, and they're like, oh, we got to check in with him. That was sweet. And Blake teaches Hayden how to throw a football. Come on, that's sweet. He doesn't know how. And Hayden's athletic. If you listened to Blondie's Out Loud, he talks about how he plays like Australian rules football. Like he knows how to play sports.
Yeah, he was like throwing like you would like in rugby. I guess. Or I don't know.
It's a nice moment.
Go sports.
Go sports.
It was a nice moment, but I did feel protective over like Hayden and Daxton's friendship.
Sure.
I was like, no, Blake. But, you know, apparently I hate Blake. So
Wendy doesn't actually hate Blake.
I don't actually hate Blake, but
there's driving. There's some reflection in the car. And poor Jonathan's like, I've never won a challenge and I need to step up my game. I mentioned last week, I think that like, I don't count Jonathan out. I haven't seen enough.
I haven't seen enough either, but he's so charismatic.
I know.
And he seems so sweet.
I know. I was watching this. I was like, this is yours. You got this, bro. Like, I felt like, because they set it up in the festive face-off, like Blake and Hayden, we've never won a challenge. And then they win the challenge. They didn't need to leave that commentary in. So I'm like, oh, they're setting Jonathan up.
Yeah. Oh, like they did with Ezra last week.
Yeah. And I was like, hopefully this is foreshadowing for what we're going to see in the acting challenge. So they arrived at the Christmas cafe.
Which is real cute.
Real cute.
I wonder what that space is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do they? They do shoot stuff in Utah, though, don't they?
Sure.
So maybe it's
a set.
Yeah.
Their challenge is improv.
Can I share a quick story here about myself? Remember, did you ever have to take drama class in high school?
I did not take drama, no.
I had to, and I remember we had to do like improv scenes.
Yeah.
And I was always like so self-conscious. Like I couldn't always like lean in. And I loved Melissa's like her advice to the guys was like, if you're an astronaut, you got to lean in all the way. And I could never do that. I could never just play.
No.
And so like shout out to actors who can go there.
100. Improv makes me a little bit uncomfortable because it's so far out of my personal comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like someone's like, you're an astronaut. I'm like, no, I'm not, man. I don't like space. Like I'm not. There's a lot of things about it that make me uncomfortable. One, I'm not comfortable being like silly.
Yeah.
And I also am not like quick on my feet to be like, you like that was just in 0 G's there. But we do get our guest judge, and it's BJ Britt. And I just need to tell you, BJ Britt is a freaking light this entire episode.
I agree. BJ, please, we DM'd you. We would love for you to be on the show.
Yeah. Please come talk to us. And Melissa talks about improv making her a better actor. And what we know about the actors that we've seen who also do improv, I think it just makes them so natural on camera.
I did think it was funny. And then Jonathan introduces BJ and everybody's like, woo, like big applause for everybody. And I had to go back to our interview with Daxton and how he mentions he didn't really know who Aaron Cahill was.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, do they know who BJ Britt is?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I did have like a heart heartwarming moment when like Elijah says like he was excited to see like another Black leading man.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, me too. I'm excited too, Elijah.
Yeah, that's a good question because they're going to act excited no matter who it is. Even if they had brought out like a complete, that'd be a funny challenge for them to bring out. They're like,
Nobody.
he's got Megan and Wendy, and they have absolutely no idea and they go crazy, right? Like that's a good challenge because this came out like pre the groomsmen.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously BJ's been in other things, but like the groomsmen hype is so big now.
Yeah.
6 months ago it wasn't.
Right.
And we also learned that Jonathan, BJ, and Melissa are going to be in the scenes with them.
Super fun.
So fun. First up, we get Hayden and Blake. And to me, this is the standout pairing. This is the point where I was like, in my notes, I'm like, oh, this makes me so uncomfortable. Everyone's leaning in and I'm like cringing so far back into my couch.
Yeah, for real.
But as soon as I type that, it's like the end of the scene and they're each given like a quirk. They have to like react. And Hayden says he has to like thumb wrestle on demand.
Yeah.
And he's walking out of the cafe
Yes.
and the phone rings and he starts thumb wrestling himself.
He killed it, right?
I almost stood up and applauded. I was like,
so funny.
I'm like, you should have won the challenge. I still maintain that he should have won the challenge. We'll get there.
I agree with you as well. I don't hate Blake. I thought Blake was really funny in his scene too when he was like, ho, ho, ho. And then,
Yeah, I thought they were both great.
but Hayden really came in and killed it for me because he just was immediately with BJ and then they were like vibing so hard. Yeah, the whole thing was really funny. And I agree, like Hayden killed it.
Unfortunately, we get Elijah and Parker. And I'm just sorry, but Parker is not that great at this challenge.
Yeah. The takeaway here that I watched is like Parker was very excited to be partnered with Elijah, and Elijah was panicking to being partnered with Parker because he just felt like they just saved Parker and like how good could Parker be at this? Their scene is not that great.
It's not that great. Elijah does well, but he's definitely hindered by Parker, and Parker keeps turning away from the camera. And part of me wonders, like, is Parker a little bit embarrassed? And is that like coming through? He's like, obviously they're supposed to be like finding the camera. Parker's a model. He knows what to do, but is he like almost hiding, like his clucking like a chicken? He's like, this is so stupid. I'm going to turn away. Subconsciously, of course.
Perhaps.
That's what I wondered. Finally, we get Ezra and Jonathan. They were together in the Erin Cahill challenge. They were partners there.
I'm back, baby. I laughed so hard.
Yeah, Ezra was pretty good.
I thought Ezra was great.
Jonathan does not He does not lean into it like Melissa sets him up and he just drops the ball.
Several times sets him up and he just misses the cues. I'm like, are you paying attention? Apparently not.
No, and BJ is really good at this. Like we know Melissa Peterman can do this, but BJ is really good.
Do you remember on the Christmas cruise when they did that kind of that improv scene?
Yeah, like Julie Sherman Wolf was reading a story and the actress had never heard it and they had to act along with it.
Do you remember him in that scene at all? We were so far away from the stage, so it was hard to see, but he like jumped on the ground and was pretending like he was like a dog.
You're right. A few people really did stand out in that scene. He's just not afraid to get in there and be silly and make the moment. And he and Melissa, like the energy was so high. It was so fun to watch.
Agree.
The guys talk about how they think they did. BJ, Melissa, and Jonathan deliberate. And I'm like, in my notes, I'm like, are they going to... Hey. I'm like, are they going to send Parker home 2 weeks in a row? Like, because in my opinion, before going into the elimination, I was like, he's definitely bottom two.
Oh, for sure.
Oddly, though, Parker does not feel that nervous going into it. He's like, I think it was fine. Like, he does not seem to be acting like, oh, man, I just totally blew my second chance.
I think Parker may have known it was the end of the road for him. Maybe he just had resolved
acceptance. He reached the acceptance phase.
Yeah.
In the elimination, first of all, Melissa's wearing the cutest glittery fringe Taylor Swiftiest dress. Loved it. And, you know, they call out Elijah, Blake, and Hayden. as their top 3, and they crown Elijah the winner. Now, I thought Elijah was good. Like I said earlier, I thought Hayden was the standout.
I thought Hayden was better than Elijah too, but like editing, you never know.
Exactly. You don't know.
We don't know.
In completely unsurprising news, Jonathan and Parker are the bottom 2, and they're at risk.
Now, are you rooting for one of them to stay? Are you like, it's time to go, Parker?
To me, I think they both struggled. I think this challenge alone, it would be hard to choose one of them to go home. But I'm like, look, Parker has been in the bottom multiple times and Jonathan never has.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think it's time. Like, you had another chance. Unfortunately, it's your time, Parker. I was sad to see him go. I'll be sad to see all of these guys go from here on out.
Yeah.
But I did think it was the right choice.
I think so too. And I got to tell you, I did feel kind of bad. Like he teared up and had a tear coming down his face. And he was just like reflecting on the grind to be an actor. You know, I think there might be some like realization, like he's like, maybe this isn't for me.
Well, and he has spoken before where he's like, I'm 39 years old. This might be my last chance to finally do something. I mean, as a 45-year-old woman, I don't want to tell anybody that at 39 you're done with whatever your career aspirations are. But I think he feels like if it hasn't happened, will it ever?
Keep working, dude.
Yeah, I found the moment really touching as well. I think it's a fair decision, but I felt emotional for him. And BJ's really moved by the speech he gives. And BJ like breaks away from the judges and like gives Parker this hug. And I was like, you texted me and you're like, is BJ the greatest actor ever? Or is this just like super genuine?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I bought it. I got teary eyed.
Me too. I'm like, put BJ in everything because like I'm buying what he's selling here.
Yeah, because right up until this moment, like if you watched The Groomsmen, BJ's movie is the most like frantic, like has kind of a frenetic, humorous pace to it. Like he brings a lot of energy. And in this episode, he brought a lot of energy and then he fully switched gears and he's like having this emotional moment. And yeah, we need more of BJ. Jonathan always knows the right thing to say. And he says, your son's going to be so proud of you. And we're all crying. But now we do have to watch Parker take his stocking down.
Goodbye.
Bye, Parker.
I have to ask you again now, with the contestants that are left.
Yeah.
Is your number one still, not your number one, but who you think is going to win still in the competition?
100% still in the competition.
Second question, and listeners, I don't know if you've seen it, but Hallmark put out the official poster for Happy Holidays.
Yeah, I have more intel on that. Go ahead.
Ooh, tell me.
Okay, well, everyone was like, what are they going to do about the poster? Because usually it's the 2 leads. Of course, they put out a poster that features 2 dogs. And so we were joking in our Facebook group. We're like, who does that golden doodle look like, right? That golden doodle is in the movie. They didn't just pick like a random, that's her dog in the movie. Like there's photos of Jessica Lowndes with the dog.
Right.
So I think they just used the 2 dogs in the movie in the poster, not like a dog that resembles Hayden or Blake or Elijah.
It wasn't an Easter egg.
It may have been unintentionally, but yeah.
It's so funny. I did ask on our Instagram on Sunday, like, who do you want to win? And one Jonathan Bennett answered.
We're not going to share his answer here.
I'm not going to share his answer.
Because I'm not 100% sure that he meant it to be like, that he knew his name would be attached when
he has to know.
I know, he's very social media savvy, but I was like, are you throwing me off the scent? Anyway, we're not going to share that. But
throwing you off the scent, no pun intended.
We'll share it afterwards.
Yes.
Once the official, we do not know, by the way. We know nothing. Hey, thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark, a Bramble Jam podcast. If you love this podcast, do what Danny Pellegrino tells you to do and leave a 5-star rating and review in the Apple Podcast app. It is the absolute very best thing you can do to support this podcast. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.